The lunch rush had just died down at Miller's Diner, the kind of small-town place where the smell of coffee lingered and the jukebox hummed softly in the corner. The red booths gleamed under warm light, and the waitresses, dressed in pink uniforms, tried to catch their breath between orders. Among them was Claire, a young single mom with dark curls pinned under her cap and tired eyes that still carried a spark of quiet determination. She wasn't just serving burgers, she was surviving. Every day was a battle between exhaustion, worry, and hope. But that afternoon, something happened that would change her life forever. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small actions that change lives, then please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stories like this one remind us that goodness often appears in the most unexpected places. Claire had been wiping down the counter when the bell above the door jingled. A group of loud men in leather jackets walked in, bikers. The kind that usually made people go quiet. Among them was a tall, broad man with gray-streaked hair slicked back and tattoos covering his arms. He looked rough, dangerous even, but his eyes held something deeper. His name was Reed, though most people only knew him by his biker name, Steele. As the men filled the diner with laughter and noise, Claire's heart tightened. It wasn't fear of them, it was fear of who might be watching. You see, for months, Claire had been trying to keep a secret from her ex-husband, Derek, a man with a violent temper and a thirst for control. He had been out of her life for almost a year, but lately, she'd noticed things, scratches on her car, strange numbers calling late at night, and once, a familiar truck parked down the street. That morning, she found a folded note slipped under her door, "You can't hide forever." Her hands had been trembling all day. But when Reed walked into the diner, something about him, his steady presence, the way he noticed everything without saying much, gave her a flicker of courage. Then she saw it, outside, through the diner's wide windows, the dark silhouette of Derek's truck was parked across the street. Her blood ran cold. He was watching. In that moment, Claire remembered something she'd read years ago on a community safety page, a hand signal used by women in danger, a silent call for help. She didn't think she'd ever use it, but now, with her heart pounding and Derek's gaze burning from the street, she had no choice. She walked to the counter, placed a coffee cup in front of Reed, and casually raised her hand, palm open, thumb tucked in, fingers folding down. For a moment, Reed's eyes narrowed. He didn't move. But then, without a word, he nodded. A small, almost imperceptible nod, but it was enough. Claire continued working, pretending nothing had happened. Derek's truck was still there when the bikers finished their meal. But when they left, Reed stayed behind, sitting quietly at the counter, watching, waiting. When Claire's shift ended and she stepped out into the fading daylight, she felt his presence before she even turned around. Reed was leaning on his motorcycle across the street. "You're not alone," he mouthed, and she felt tears sting her eyes. She walked to her car, her hands shaking. The truck was gone, but she knew Derek wasn't far. That night, as Claire drove home along the quiet road outside town, headlights appeared in her rearview mirror. Her heart sank, it was him. The same truck. She pressed harder on the gas, fear clawing at her chest. But then another engine roared behind the truck, louder, deeper. She looked again. It was Reed's motorcycle. The road stretched long and empty, moonlight cutting across the asphalt. The truck tried to speed up, but Reed's bike swerved close, his leather jacket glinting in the light. Derek honked, furious, but Reed didn't back down. Claire turned into her driveway, tears streaming, as Reed pulled in behind her. The truck stopped for a moment at the end of the road, then slowly reversed and disappeared into the night. Claire collapsed against her car, sobbing. Reed didn't say anything. He just stood there, silent, making sure she was safe. Finally, he spoke softly, "You did good, kid. You're safe now." He handed her a small card. It had the name of a local women's shelter and a phone number written in pen. They helped my sister once, he said quietly. They'll help you too. Over the next few days, everything changed. Reed and his biker club kept an eye on her house. They rode by every night, not to scare anyone, but to send a message: she's not alone anymore. With their help, Claire filed a restraining order and found the courage to move to a safer neighborhood. She finally slept without fear for the first time in years. But what touched her most wasn't just the protection, it was the kindness behind it. Reed never asked for anything in return. One day, he stopped by the diner again, sitting at the same counter. Claire smiled, pouring him coffee. "You saved my life," she said softly. Reed looked up, his eyes kind but distant. "Nah," he said. "You saved yourself. I just reminded you you're worth saving." As he rode away, Claire stood by the diner window, watching until the sound of his engine faded into the wind. Something inside her healed that day. She wasn't the same scared woman anymore. She was strong, capable, and finally free. Weeks later, she started volunteering at the same shelter Reed had told her about. She met women with similar stories, women who thought they were alone, until someone showed up for them. And every time she saw a biker ride by, she smiled. Because now, she knew that sometimes, angels wear leather jackets. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Let's remind the world that compassion doesn't always come in a suit, it can roar down a highway on two wheels. Before we end, I'd love to know your thoughts. What would you have done if you were in Claire's place? Comment below and let's talk about the courage it takes to ask for help. Because sometimes, one small sign can save a life. Red Heart.